What's up guys, Justin here for S&S Archery. Today's gear video, we're going to be looking at my gear setup for a backcountry archery elk hunt. A lot of the items I've been using for several years, some new, but this is what I'm running this year. So I'm going to dive into this video, break down pretty much everything I use, minus water and minus my snack food. But everything else, this is what I'm taking on a hunt. So getting into my bow setup. For this season, I'm shooting the Hoyt RX5 Ultra carbon bow. Really like it so far. Up front, I've got a spider tracker stabilizer you can get from our shop. This one's a 10-inch. I like a lot of weight forward. I like a good follow through. I also have the quick disconnect, which is nice. The stabilizer won't fit in my bow case unless I take it off, so that is an awesome feature. As far as my quiver, I run the Tight Spot quiver. This is a 5 arrow. As far as my arrows, I'm shooting the T64 Easton full metal jackets. They're 4 millimeters in the back and 6 in the front, so it's kind of a tapered arrow. And as far as my broadheads, I'm shooting the Annihilator 100 grain. As far as my sight, this is pretty much our S&S Backcountry Pro Hunter. It was a 5-pin. I decided to go with 4 pins this season. For me, my effective range, I'm very confident out to 50 yards, so having that 60-yard pin just didn't really need it. I liked having just one 10,000ths pin, so I just deleted a pin, and then I also set it up on a 4-inch wing truss as well. As far as my rest, I'm shooting the Hammock Trinity. This is a new item. I've previously shot ripcord for years, but shooting the Trinity this year. But I love the consistency. I love how strong and heavy duty it is. So that is my bow setup. Pretty much every single season I'm running the Exo Mountain Gear pack. This is the K3 in the 4800. I feel the 4800 is a perfect balance for that 5 to 7 day hunt. Here in the bottom of the pack I have just a Thermarest sitting pad. You know, when you're glassing for a long time, this can just help with, you know, taking some fatigue off your rear end. Just nice not sitting in rocks, having a little bit of cushion. Very light. As far as my tripod, I am taking in the Slick 624 tripod. This tripod also has the Shure VA5 video pan head on it. I really like this setup. This is the first year I've really been using it. Very smooth head. It just holds in place. I'm not running a spotting scope on this particular hunt. I'm hunting pretty dense timber, so don't really need that spotter, but I like having the tripod. If I'm out on any open ridges, I'm able to use my bino adapter and use my binos to glass. On the other side, I have our S&S Backcountry trekking poles. Don't go anywhere without these things. Total game changer as far as being able to pack out and have 4 points of contact. Haven't had any issues with them. They just work. Solid product. Other side, I run Phelps calls. So run the bigger bugle tube. I'm not the best caller, but I like the fact that I don't have to blow it as hard to get great elk sounds. So I do run the bigger tube and all the elk diaphragms. They're in my pack. I'll get to it in a second, but yeah, Phelps game calls. All right, so in the front of my pack, my stretch zipper, I'm just carrying extra socks, extra pair of underwear. These are items after 2 to 3 days, you start to get stinky, you know, freshen up. We all know, you know, what hard hunting does to your body in certain areas, so staying fresh is key for me. So that's where I keep them, just easy access when I need them. As far as inside the pack, let's jump right into it. So as far as my sleep system, I run the Exped pillow. It is a nice size pillow. It kind of has some kind of felt to it, so it's not really slippery. It stays in place. And for me, I'm a side sleeper, so getting a very comfortable pillow and yet having it small enough and light enough was key, and so I really like the Exped. As far as staying with the sleep system, 10 I'm running this year is the Anion 3. Now, typically I wouldn't run a 3-man tent, but I do hunt in a crew of guys, So usually we're kind of transferring gear. You know, one guy carries this, one guy carries the poles. So we kind of split up the weight. But for this video, this is the tent. I'm getting ready, like I said, to go on this hunt. So I might carry this, another guy might carry a camera. So we just try to divvy up that weight. But I really like the Hilleberg tents. Just started using them since I started working at S&S Archery. Very solid. Like, you just feel bomb-proof. You feel like no matter what it does, element-wise, you're going to be perfectly fine. Easy to set up, and it's fairly light. So coming in at 4 pounds, really like the Hilleberg tent. Sleeping bag. This is a Western Mountaineering, the Terra Light. It's a 20-degree bag, perfect for September. You know, it gets down sometimes single digits, but for the most part, you're looking 30s to 40s in the morning. So this 20-degree bag is perfect, lightweight, just over a pound. I really like this bag. Been running it for quite some time. If it does start to drop, watching the temperature before I go, I've got a Big Agnes 0-degree bag that I will switch out in case I need to. Food. So big fan of Peak Refuel. All my dehydrated meals, I try to match. If I'm hunting for 4 days, I'm taking in 4 meals. So I'll be taking in some dehydrated dinners. Alpine Fuel. Run these in the morning. Great nutrition, lightweight, doesn't take much water, which is nice. Hunting in the backcountry, it's always, you know, a challenge to find that water. Super good meals. I got some more snacks from Peak Refuel as well. First aid kit. Very small kit. It's just going to have bandages, some Neosporin, some aspirin. Long johns. So this is one of those items, if it's cold, which it looks like it's going to be in the 20s, with elk hunting, you're sitting a lot. You're doing those long setups. And if you're cold, it's really hard to stay on target and make a good shot. So if I know I'm going to be calling a lot in the morning, or if it's crisp, I'm definitely bringing these. These are the zip-off long johns. By First Light. Probably one of my favorite items, being able to zip them off without having to take off my boots. It's huge. It saves me a ton of time. As far as my sleeping pad, so new for me this year is the Thermarest Neo Air. This is very light, comes in at 14 ounces, I believe. I've had some previous issues with pads. I've had the Big Agnes. I've had a few of the other Thermarest. This was like a last minute. Waited too long to buy anything offline, so I went and bought the nicest pad that I could from an REI. Great reviews. I'm hoping this thing is bomb-proof. It's got a R rating of 4.2, and it's going to fit my body very good. Game bags. So I still run the Black Ovis sacks. I actually take 5 bags. They give you four big bags and then a small one. I like having 5 just in case I kill something big enough. I want to mount, I want to cape, and so getting that hide and everything in a bag as well so you don't get any blowfly is very important. So that's what I'm using on the bags. As far as more into my kill kit, what I'm bringing, trash bag, liver, heart, just some of those items can go in that. Paracord, about 25 feet, so if I need to hang anything in a tree, I can. And then I use goat knives. So I always keep a fixed blade, something for skinning, something that'll get right in on the bone. One of the other goat knives that you can change the blades. So this is really nice for skinning, lots of extra blades. Get through a whole elk with just this setup. I don't pack a bone saw. Pretty much gutless method. Get into all the joints, you're able to disconnect them. For me, it's kind of a no-brainer not to pack a saw, just extra weight. I do pack extra electrical tape. This is very crucial if you've ever lost a tag. Just nice for taping anything that breaks, but also taping that tag to the antler. So I always bring a roll. Nice thing with the goat knives is they're kind of a multi-tool. They have a little spot down here where these little Allen keys fit in and you're able to fix your setup. So I've used them in the past. I've had parts come loose on my bow. Simply find the right Allen and you're able to tighten them up. So instead of bringing a whole Allen wrench set, you got these little tools that you can use. Normal jet oil. Try to take in a full canister of gas just in case I need to start fires. If I'm eating a lot, I like to have coffee. Just some of those items that I'd rather have more of the fuel. I try to not take in just like a quarter or a half amount of fuel every time. Not wanting to run out is very important for me, so that's why I take a full canister of fuel. Hammock. So this is kind of obviously debatable if you're trying to stay lightweight. This whole setup is just over a pound, but for me, I found the last 3 seasons I've been using a hammock. They are awesome for that midday nap, getting off the ground, resting your feet, you know, kicking off your boots. I've got some really light straps that go with these. Just one of those items that, you know, isn't necessary, but if you want to stay comfortable and you can, you know, pack the weight, I highly suggest checking out a hammock for those midday naps and rests. So in my little stash pocket inside my pack, obviously got a spork, so this is for my dehydrated meals. Assortment of AA, AAA batteries. These are going to be for my headlamps. I also do take an extra spoon just in case I lose mine. Notorious for this. And then I also have an edge knife sharpener as well, just a cheap one. Back out front, I run the Sawyer squeeze system. So what I have here is basically 3 bags. I keep one that I've marked as my clean bag. So anytime I want to just drink freshly filtered water, maybe mix it with some Hydrate Recovery, some Wilderness Athlete, I can. The other 2 bags are my dirty water. Put it right through my Sawyer squeeze, and then I've also got the Sawyer squeeze fast fill adapter connection on my bladder itself, so I'm able to quickly disconnect, hook in my filter, and pump directly into my pack. So I don't have to take out that bladder every single time. When you start getting a whole bunch of gear in here and then you fill up a bladder with 3 liters, it's really hard to pack it down in there. So I found this is the best way. As far as that bladder, I'm just running a platypus. I've got a 3-liter bag. It seems to be enough water for me. I rarely drink water. I need to get better at it. But that platypus hasn't failed me. I've had it for about 4 seasons now. On this side, I've got the Swarovski T8 Slc Adapter. This is obviously for my glassing setup. What I really like is you don't have to have a plate on this guy for it to work with our VA5. It's already Arca Swiss compatible. So putting my binos on, it's a quick process. You got a quick lock on it and you're ready to glass. Okay, so getting into the lid. So got another stash pocket. Garmin Inreach Mini. This is key for me to be able to message my family when I'm out in the hills. Most of the places that I hunt don't have cell service, so this is how I get messages out. You know, whether it's to a buddy that has another Inreach that's coming in to help me pack, I can give him, he can see my exact location, or message my family, like I said. Awesome little device. Lighter, obviously for starting fires, and then my Jetboil doesn't have a clicker, so this is how I eat every morning, every night. I got a black diamond headlamp. Keep, like I said, extra set of AAA batteries. Keeping these things fresh, not dim, is key, especially when you kill something. Need as much light as possible. I do keep some of the pyro putty. This is, you know, really beneficial when things get wet. Starting a little bit of fire, it only takes a little bit. It can help you out big time. I got another lighter. And then I also have an assortment of ibuprofen and Tylenol. Release, this year I'm using the Spot Hog Wise Guy. Just started shooting it this spring. Really like this thing. I've always been a Scott guy, but I really like the BOA system and how smooth this release is. Super impressed with it. I've never shot with the open hook style, but I really like it. Tent light. So need to find a lighter setup, but for now I just have this expandable tent light. So this is, I'm going to hook in the top of my tent. Phelps game calls. So I use an assortment of calls. My favorite is the orange diaphragm, the amp. Seems to work the best for me. So I just keep 2 or 3 of the oranges with me. I've tried all the others, but the orange just seems to work. And lastly, face paint. So I'm one of those guys that really likes to dive into a hunt, and any way I can psych myself out to be a better hunter, I do it, and face paint is one of the things I do. After a few days it rubs off, so I go ahead and pack it. It's not very heavy. So that's everything in my pack. Now we're gonna look at some of the items I would be taking while I'm hiking in. So bino harness, this year I'm running an FHF. Inside I have a pair of Swarovski NL Pier 10x42s. By far the best glass I've ever used. Absolutely love these things. Low light capabilities are unreal. With the NL Piers, they don't have a 1/4x20 attachment point, so you're not able to use it on a glassing system. So we started working with Kestrel. They have this ring adapter, which is really nice. Basically gives you the outlet, gives you that 1/4x20 thread. So now I'm able to set it up, hook it right into my T8 SLC, doing this backwards, and glass. So it's a killer setup, very lightweight. You don't even know it's there. Kind of 3D carbon printed. Really like this thing. Rangefinder. So been a big fan of Vortex for a long time. The 4000 HD. This thing for rifle, for archery, it's phenomenal. Bunch of different modes. It's never failed for me. Works great. Battery lasts a very long time. I just have some wind indicator on the side for an archery hunt. Elk, obviously very important, you know, getting the wind. I also have a lens cleaner, so this is going to be for my optics, just somewhere. If it starts raining, if I get a smudge, I can clean it real fast. As far as going in, what kind of clothing I'm going to be wearing, I take a beanie, you know, just in case, cold. At night, it's nice to have. Run the First Light Talus Fingerless and the full finger, which these are the same thing. So I run the full finger as well. So I have those two. I really like running the fingerless Talus glove because I'm able to grip my bow. When you get the full finger, the bow kind of slips out of your hand. It's not as easy to hold. But anytime I can, like I said, I use that fingerless. The boots I'm running the crispy Laponia. Huge fan of the Laponia. My feet are always hot, they sweat. So for me, finding a lightweight pair of boots that I can be completely waterproof in is important. And the Laponias have been absolutely wonderful for me. So I always start with my base layers. So I've got a t-shirt, just a Wick tee by First Light. Then I have the Wick hoodie. I'll probably spend 75% of the day in just these two items. I run pretty hot. When it starts to get cold, when we're slow moving through the timber, I go with the Klamath hoodie by First Light. You put those three things together and I'm usually pretty dang good for most of the hunt. The only time I'm going to need a coat is either back at camp when we're not moving around or early first thing and I start glassing. So the coat, I started running the Catalyst soft shell by First Light. I really am a fan of this. I've ran the Brooks, but eliminating that sound as you draw or moving through the brush was huge. And so I found the Catalyst. It's very quiet. You don't have any bagginess around your drawing arm, your shooting arm, so your string's not going to slap, and it cuts the wind awesome. Pants I'm running, I'll just take one pair of pants in, wear them all week. I'm running the First Light Corrugate Foundries. I really like these pants. What's new about them is you got a side zip, so if you get hot, you can vent. Another cool feature about these pants is you got a built-in knee pad. It just takes that fatigue. If you're in rocky areas, it just helps tremendously. If you do get hot, want to take them out, you can. The last items I have, these are items that I don't necessarily have all the time. This is just weather depending. So before my hunt, I'll do some research, find out if it's going to be 50-60% chance of rain. If it is, I'm going to take a dry bag. Fits right in the Exo Mount Gear 4800. So this is going to keep all my stuff dry. Gaiters, Brambler gaiter. You get that morning dew, keeping your pants dry, your boots from water going down into the top of your boot is key. So just depending, like I said, on the weather, taking the gaiters. And the last few items I have First Light rain gear, so top and bottom. And that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys seen some insight. This video helped you guys out, maybe packing some of your stuff. If you guys have any questions about my gear or anything else that we carry here at S&S Archery, please feel free to give us a call, shoot us an email. We'd be glad to help, and thanks for watching.